hi guys, I'm Celestial Shadows, and welcome back to Princess Evangile. Sorry, it's been a few days since I played it, but hopefully this time I'll have time to record a lot more and get further along the story and probably upload more if I can. And we left off there. Risu-san walked around to stand in front of me and held out her right hand. I'm so glad that I met you tonight. And it wasn't just a place. Right now, right in front of me, there was a person who wanted me to be here. I gritted my teeth to keep from trembling with joy and reached out to take her hand. Welcome to Vincennes! And I'm sleeping. It might be her. I already forgot her name. Hello. Masaya-kun? Okanogi Masaya-kun? It's time to wake up. Have you made your preparations? I hope he isn't still sleeping. Masaya-kun, I'm coming in. Oh, I just knew it. Masaya-kun, please wake up. It's time to go. Oh. I felt a tap on my shoulder and woke up with a start. And it's someone else completely different. Late on your first day? I can't approve of that. Standing in front of me was the dorm mother who was helping me get adjusted. Sister Mishima. Oh, sorry. I didn't get to sleep until around dawn. I see. I was right to check in on you. You didn't even respond when I tried to wake you up for breakfast. I looked at my clock. I had set the alarm for 6:30, but it was now almost 8. Whoa, that's bad. I was supposed to be out the door by now. Forgive me for saying this, but you joined the school as a representative of young men, Masaya-kun. If you make a poor first impression, it will be harder for you to integrate yourself later. Her words were harsh, but her eyes were kind. Sister is right. I have to do the best I can for the rest of the year. You're right. I'm very sorry. Not at all. Well, if you hurry, you can still make it. Shall I walk you to the gym? No, I should be fine. I studied the map before. I see. Take care then. As the sister left, I hurried to wash my face and brush my teeth. I really wish I could have had breakfast though. I had been forbidden to leave this room until today, when I'd be formally introduced to the school. In the meantime, the staff brought me food. The dorm meals were delicious. If nothing else, that alone made me glad to be at Vincennes. The room was luxurious, too. The building itself was new, and the furniture was all very well made. It's an upgrade from my old apartment in every conceivable way. I left the bathroom after washing up. I took off my pajamas and put my arms through the sleeves of my uniform. Naturally, the school had no male uniform, so I wore the uniform of my own school. I had given my key to the guardians so they could fetch me what I needed. Apparently, the goons hadn't messed with things very much there. Wow. I'm seriously gonna be late. I opened the door just as a student was coming out of the room next to mine. Ah. Huh? Her eyes opened wide in shock. She then let out a scream and ran off. She didn't have to scream. She made me feel like a criminal. I had been stuck in my room all this time, so I wasn't sure if the people around me knew about my being here or not. Probably not, since they were waiting for the assembly. It was looking like they hadn't. I wish someone had told them, at least. I can see this will be an uphill battle. A single boy had arrived at a traditional girls' academy. It seemed like this was an even greater culture shock than I had expected. He's following me! No, I'm not. Please. I'm kind of in a hurry. Eek! In a hurry? To make crime? No, I'm just running late. I was running down the path toward the school building when I saw a group of girls just ahead. The student who had fled from me was speaking to them desperately. They turned quickly to face me. Even from this distance, I could tell they were hostile. I slowed my pace and gave them an awkward smile. I wasn't sure how effective the smile was going to be, of course. Nope. Definitely not effective. All but two of them ran away. One of them was Rise-san. The other was someone I had naturally never seen before. Good morning. Oh, that's Rise. Salutations! She was staring at me. The girl was as beautiful as Rise-san, but there was a certain coldness about her beauty. Rise-sama, are you acquainted with this person? Yes! Who is he? You know, I've been out scouting for someone. Don't you, Ritsuko? You really did find someone then? Yes, and he is a man of the finest character. Oh, you're making me blush. Stop it. I decided to say something to reduce the tension, but that just made it worse. I was under the impression that the board of directors was deadlocked. Mother, the headmistress, closed discussion on the admittance of boys. True, but I volunteered to be mission ambassador. And part of my authority as mission ambassador means that any men I found would be admitted unconditionally. I was under the impression that your term as mission ambassador had expired. But, well, you have to look at it generously. But they're ending so quickly. But the rule was by the end of the third term. That face. Now, I received the chairwoman's permission to continue. There should be no issue. Will he be introduced at the entrance ceremony? Yes, it appears so. Then I will hear the official explanation at that time. She turned and left quickly without a word to me. As she disappeared, Rise-san let out a sigh of relief. For pity's sake, Ritsuko is such a stickler for the rules. Her name's Ritsuko? Or Ritsuko? Yes, she's an intermediary. No. She's in her first year and final course. Her name is Kitami Kado Ritsuko. Final course? I had heard rumors about Vincent's, but I knew nothing about how it worked. I wanted to ask, but I didn't have time to spare. What is it? Forgive me. You still have bed hair. I've never seen such a thing before. Yeah, I slept in a little. Are you certain you'll make it on time? Wasn't my grandmother hoping to speak with you before the ceremony begins? Oh, right. I'll go on ahead. See you later. Yes. That was too high. Yes. Good luck. And I know I'll need it. As I left the path, there were more students around. I quickly became the center of attention. The reaction was largely shock, but thorny suspicion mixed in. Spurred on by the awkwardness, I dashed towards the school grounds as fast as I could. And let's see. Guess I'll go deep again. You are Okanagi Masai-kun, then. Oh, yes. I'm sorry I'm late. So this is Rise-san's grandmother. She had such an air of elegance about her. It was easy to see the relation. No, not at all. It really was silly of me to ask. You're the only man on the entire Vincent's campus after all. I should introduce myself. I am Rosen, the chairwoman of Vincent's board. It seems you've been a great help to my granddaughter. Oh, not at all. She's the one who helped me. But Rise informed me that you saved her from ruffians. Ruffians? I was just... Really? First she's sneaking out of school. Now she's assaulting gang members. It's very unladylike of her. She told me he said something she just couldn't stand, so she hit him. Masaya-kun, did you ask what it was that she just couldn't stand? No, I was just thinking how glad I was he didn't do anything to her. If Rise won't say, then I won't say it either. Huh? I hear that you saved her from ruffians once before as well. Well, those people were actually school security, weren't they?
ただ、その時点ではマサヤ君はそのことを知らなかったのでしょ?
But you didn't know that at the time, did you? Well, no.
清い心をお持ちのようです。そうした人は御国を見ることができると三条の水君にはありますよ。
You appear to be quite pure of heart. In the Sermon on the Mount, it was said that such people will see God. Were those words from the Bible or something? I wasn't familiar with it. Could I ask about what you said before? Am I really the only man here?
Eh?
Yes. Amazing. The rumors I'd heard about the all-girls paradise were true then. And here I was, the sole man among them. What's going to happen to me? I was halfway between excited and anxious.
だから何かと不便なこともあるでしょうが、我慢を強いることになってしまうと思います。ごめんなさいね。
There may be some inconveniences along the way, but I hope you'll bear them. I'm so sorry. No, I understand.
では、この後ですが。
Then we shall proceed. The chairwoman turned against the gymnasium.
そろそろ始業式が始まります。その間、マサヤ君は控室で待っていてください。
The opening ceremony is about to begin. Would you mind waiting in the green room for now? Of course.
先に私から紹介し、その後、マサヤ君にも自己紹介してもらいますから。
I will begin by introducing you, and then you may introduce yourself. Understood.
何か質問は?
Any questions? No, not in particular. The chairwoman. Yeah. So he's the chairman. The chairwoman gave a small nod. I headed for the gym as requested.
そういえば、マサヤ君はどこまで聞いているんです？今後のことやあなたの立場についてなどですが。
By the way, how much have you heard, Masaya-kun, about what's going to happen and your own role in it? Actually, I haven't heard much at all. I had to admit, it's pretty lax of me. I know that in 1 year there will be a vote to decide if the school will go co-ed or if it will stay as a girls' school.
そうですか。
I see. This seemed to disappoint her somehow.
あの子も言いにくかったのかしら。
Do I have to propose to one of them? That'd be a great visual novel. Perhaps. It was hard for her to say it. What?
そうだ。孫から聞きました。何でも当選の宝くじを失ってしまったとか。
That's right. My granddaughter told me something about you losing a winning lottery ticket. Ah.
ただ、ごめんなさい。1億円というお金はとても用立てることはできなくて。
But I'm sorry. 100 million yen is a bit too much for me to provide. Oh no, not at all. Risa-san keeps acting like it's her fault or something. But she really didn't do anything wrong. So really, don't worry about it. And tell Risa-san not to worry about it either.
代わりと言ってはなんですが、学校生活の面ではできる限りのことをしますから。
It hardly makes up for it, but I will do everything I can to make your school life comfortable. Yes, thank you very much. I could hear a voice from the green room. The opening ceremony went on the typical fashion until my introduction came up. Gonna cause an uproar. Now, it happens that there is something I must announce to you all. As some of you are already aware, beginning this April, a special transfer student will be joining Vincennes. Wow, just be blunt. This special transfer student is a boy. Throughout the ceremony, the student body had been politely silent, but now is alive with whispers. The chairwoman waited for the whispers to die down before speaking again. There has been a matter of some debate for several years among Vincennes' board of directors. The matter regards Vincennes becoming a co-educational school. Those for and opposed are locked into their opinions, and I have determined that the board cannot reach a decision. I believe you will recall our decision to leave the matter up to the students. However, it was obvious that such a decision could not be made on the spur of the moment. As you all know, Vincennes' student body is all female. I believe many of you have never interacted with a boy your own age. So it was decided to first integrate a single male student. By interacting with one young man, you would be better informed by the time of the vote. I believe you will all recall that decision as well. However, the school has eschewed the use of formal applications. We believed it was too easy to see which way that would go. In exchange, I requested a student play the role of scout. The one who volunteered was my own granddaughter, Rise. Many of you have thought that this plan had ended in failure. This is because Rise was unable to find a suitable entrant in the time period allotted to her. The boy that we have accepted into the school was discovered over spring vacation. This was a clear violation of school rules. However, I have decided to allow it, using my authority as chairwoman. So that's what happened. So the chairwoman was on the side of reform? That was reassuring. I would find it extremely regrettable to deny him and squash the entire project due to a technicality of time. In addition, this particular boy seems to be a very fine character. Ah, although that is simply conjecture on my part. Been seeing this sounding more and more like a French school instead of a Japanese school. Now, allow me to introduce the young man who will join our family beginning today. Okanagi Masaya-kun. And let's see. Guess I can give you a higher voice. Wait, no, probably Coconut. Wait, no, it was. Oh, wait, Cinnamon. That was her name. Probably do that. Soft and high. So, what? Huh? That sounded like a scream. I couldn't understand screams about the idea of a boy joining the school. But that last one, was it a reaction to my name? That's what it seemed like it. Now, let's have a quick introduction. Masaya-kun, come this way, please. I left the green room and walked awkwardly to the chairwoman's side. She turned the microphone to me, and I spoke. Nice to meet you. My name is Okanagi Masaya. I was so nervous, I could barely recognize the sound of my own voice through the speakers. I understand this is an experiment, but I'm looking forward to studying with you all for a year. Regarding that, huh? The chairwoman spoke up, her voice hesitant and her eyes shifting away. Excuse me. She changed places with me, then spoke into the microphone again. Can I click you? Okay, well, I'll read it first. As I believe you all know, we will be holding a premier judgment at the end of the first term. Premier judgment, the first trial that the protagonist must pass. If he does not win majority support at this vote, he will leave Vincent at the end of the first term. In other words, a bad ending. Premier what? The point at issue will be whether or not the special transfer student will be allowed to stay. What? I stared at her in disbelief. So really, you only have like a place to stay for a few months. If his presence is rejected, then I am afraid that Masaya-kun will have to be expelled. If this occurs, we will be able to select a new male student to arrive in his place. Seriously? Even a year had seemed too short, and now... If he is accepted, then he will continue until the grand vote held at the end of the third term. The end of the year vote for student council president. This year, it will also determine whether school reform, in other words, gender integration, passes. Either way, it will come down to your decision. And so, I encourage you to interact with the transfer student as much as you can. That goes for you as well, Masaya-kun. Please, don't be shy. Make yourself a lot of girlfriends, because that's what director or chairwoman should tell you. Right. Don't think they got translated right at all. Will the officers of the White Lily and Red Rose Societies please report to my office after school? That is all. As we both turned to exit the stage, the chairwoman leaned over and whispered in my ear. Don't worry. All we need is majority support by the time the first term ends. Right. Majority support. I took a quick look around the gym. The vibe from the girls assembled there was definitely not a friendly one. I certainly wasn't making any girlfriends there. I had just joined the school, and I was already facing expulsion. Rough times. And already halfway through the chapter. Sister Mishima showed me to my classroom. Just by moving my head side to side. Wow! The school building looks so new. I was expecting something older from a traditional school. We recently had it renovated. There were problems in its earthquake readiness. Ah, I see. Vincennes has changed a great deal. Although some of the old buildings remain, the cathedral, for instance, can't speak. With the opening of the ceremony over, the students were heading towards the school building. I was now surrounded by girls. I felt painfully conspicuous. When I attended, the walls had the weight of age to them. Although the new ones are nice too. What? You were a student here too, sister? Yes, it's not unusual for Vincennes staff to be alumni. "90% of the staff here are former students. It's not unusual for 3 generations of a family to have passed through these halls." Naturally, friendships made here endure as well. We are a community that transcends the relationships of school. That's really amazing. This is the box for your shoes, Masaya-kun. There were slippers in my size inside. For a second, I just remembered that this was a Catholic school. And why did she have keys? Seems more like a prison now. Your textbooks should already be in the classroom. I'll be your homeroom teacher as well. We'll be seeing a lot of each other. Oh, right. Sister Mishima was my homeroom teacher. That was good. At least you have 2 nice people. What? As I walked down the halls, I noticed something strange. What's that classroom with no one inside?
撃教室があるんです。
Oh, that's an unused classroom. An unused classroom? That's strange.
建て替える前は番線のは6クラスあったんです。ただ生徒の数がだんだんと減っていって。
Well, prior to the rebuild, Vincent's had 6 classes. But since we've been getting fewer and fewer students... Oh, Misi-san mentioned something like that.
建て替える前から4クラスでした。だったらそれに合わせた校舎にするという考えも当然あったのですが。
Just before the rebuild, we had 4 classes. It seemed natural to change the building to reflect that. But they didn't do that.
まあ、理事会には様々な考えをお持ちの方がいらっしゃいますから。
Well, there was a great deal of debate about it among the board after all. The reformists and the traditionalists, I bet. Protect the old ways. There were clearly certain people who were passionate about that.
狭いコミュニティには独特の空気というものがあります。
Small communities do have a unique atmosphere.
建物が変わったところで、それはなかなか変わるものではないでしょうね。
To change the building would be a significant change, don't you think? Sister, were you on the reform side? I found myself asking without thinking.
学園の未来を決めるのは今の生徒たちですから。
It's the students of the present who will determine our future.
着きました。まさやくんは今日からここ2年 C 組に通うことになります。
Here we are. Beginning today, you will be in classroom 2C, Masaya-kun.
では入りましょう。
Well, let's go inside. Right. I opened the door. Every face turned to me. All the ghosts in the classroom stared at me. Where are all the chibis? Oh my, he's in our class? You've got to be kidding me. I wonder where he's gonna sit. It goes without saying that the class was all girls, but the sight was still new to me. Ah, it's Rise-san, my one life preserver. So we were in the same class. That was a relief. In a class like this, I was lucky if I wasn't driven out. Not much chance of making friends. At least you still have Rise. Sister Mishima walked to the lectern. Lectern? Is that a word? I followed after her.
どこでも構いません。皆さん、まずは席についてください。
Everyone, I want you to take your seats. It doesn't matter where. I heard the rattling of chairs and then the classroom descended into silence. That kind of respect for authority was completely new to me, too. In my old school, the chatter would have kept up much longer.
始業式で顔合わせは済んでいますが、新しいクラスメートですからね。改めて自己紹介していただきましょう。
I believe you all saw him at the opening ceremony. But you have a new classmate. Why don't you introduce yourself again? Sister Mishima handed me the chalk. I wrote my name on the board, then gave a stiff bow. Okanogi, Masaya-san. It's nice to meet you all. The classroom remained silent. There wasn't a single nice to meet you too.
席はどうしましょうか。番線ヌでは出席番号順の並びになるのですが。
Now, where should we put you? Vincent does sitting by attendance number, but...
Sister!
Rise-san stood up immediately. Even in the classroom of girls, she stood apart from the rest.
私の隣が適切ではないかと思います。私が連れてきた人ですし。
I believe it might be best if he sat beside me. I brought him here after all.
それもそうですね。
That is true.
では皆さん、出席番号順に座り直してください。
Well then, everyone, please change your seats to reflect attendance number now. At her words, the students moved without hesitation to their seats. They know where to go even without labels?
バンセンヌではみんな顔と名前が一致していますからね。寮で生活していますし、まさにファミーユと言えるでしょう。
That's one big family. Everyone in Vincennes knows each other's name and face on sight. They live together in the dorms too. They're a true family. A chairwoman used that word too. What does it mean?
家族という意味のフランス語です。
Knew it was French. It's the French word for family. Family, huh? I like the sound of it. The words were appealing to someone like me, who has lived without family for so long. Me and my sad, depressing life. But why do you write it in Roman letters? I've seen them mixed in from time to time.
元がフランスからのミッションが設立したからでしょうか。他にも生徒の一名とかは外部の人には面白く感じられると思いますよ。
I knew the school was French. I suppose it's because the school was established by French missionaries. You may find the students' titles unusual as well. And let's learn about titles. Titles. Nicknames given to the students by each other. One must have a certain degree of popularity to earn a title. In that regard, it's a very strict system. Titles?
ああ、平たく言えばあだ名のことです。
Huh. It's a bit like nicknames. Before she could say any more, the students finished taking their seats.
では、マサヤくんもこれを持って席にどうぞ。
Now, Masaya-kun, take these and head to your seat. Yes. I took the pile of textbooks off the lectern. Why don't they say pedestal or something? Oh. And walked to the desk beside Shrise-san. We exchanged a few pleasantries, but I noticed you wouldn't meet my eyes. I wonder why. From there, morning homeroom began. One about the same as my old school. Homeroom ended, and Sister Mishima left. There were a few minutes before first period started. Normally, the class would probably be alive with chatter. But at the time, it was totally silent. Is Vincennes always like this? I looked around the classroom. As I looked around, any girl I looked at quickly averted her eyes. No, this was probably unusual.
マサヤさん。
Asai-san. What is it? Finally, someone met my eyes. It was almost a relief.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry. What? Rise bowed her head low to me. All these whispers. For heaven's sake, he's making Rise-san grovel to him. How dare he treat our Solide Oko that way? Huh, so that's probably a title. Son of the school rose in Rise's title. Sole de Ecole. Sole de Ecole. Sounds like soda or something. Son of the school. That's what it sounds like. Just what is that man trying to do? What? Did I do something wrong? The reactions aside, I was starting to panic. Wait a minute! Rise-san, what's going on? Look at me!
私ったらあなたに一つ嘘をついてしまったんだわ。
I appear to have lied. I appear to have lied about one small thing. What? About what? She finally looked up at me.
期間のことよ。本当は1学期の最後に審判があるのに、私はそれをあえて隠して1年後だなんて言って。
Oh. Well, thanks for not telling me. About the period of your stay. There really will be a vote at the end of the first term. But I only told you about the end of the year vote. Huh.
それではさすがに断られると思ったの。だってあんまり条件が悪すぎるんですもの。
Well, I probably wouldn't have refused either way since I haven't broken nowhere else to go. I was afraid that you would refuse. The conditions are so strict, after all. I was pretty sure I wouldn't have refused, no matter the conditions. All I had wanted was to see her again.
それであなたを騙してしまった。本当申し訳なく思うわ。
That's why I deceived you. There's really no excusing what I've done.
けど私はどうしてもあなたには。
What's with that face? But if you'll let me make it up to you... That's alright. I'm not offended. I don't really care about that, anyway. Besides, in the end, if I'm not accepted after a year, I couldn't say anyway, right?
それはそうだけど。
Even so. So sooner or later, it doesn't make a difference.
ただ人間関係には時間が必要なことも事実だわ。これというのも妙義様が。
But it's true that it takes time to build relationships. Even Mayogi-sama. What? Mayogi?
理事会の相談役、前の理事長で強硬な。
The advisor to the board. She's the former chairwoman and stubbornly...
そのあたりのことはお昼にでも話すわ。
Oh, that's the lunchtime bell? I'll tell you more about that at lunchtime. Right.
マサヤさん、騙してしまったことだけど、許してくださるわね。
Masaya-san, can you forgive me for deceiving you? Wait, really didn't deceive me. Of course!
よかった。
I'm so glad. The bell rang and the teacher entered. Naturally, the teacher was a woman. And we just stay in the same classroom. And we actually have a timetable, so first period, morning, first periods. No, I couldn't read it. Probably should have skimmed it. Well, I know it's morning, all the classes, then after school. Class proceeded solemnly. The only sounds were the scratching of chalk on the board and pages turning in textbooks. Okay, I thought that was something else. Those words are too close together. The scratching of pens in notebooks and curt answers to the instructor's questions. They're so serious. I guess there's a charm school for you. I couldn't help but admire them, but at the same time, I had a concern. I was afraid that those illusions that boys tend to have about girls might get shattered. Shouldn't it be the other way around? I had a friend whose sister went to an all-girls school. He told me of the harsh reality of life there. They're basically old men. Really? From what my friend said, they don't mind farting. Well, that's probably just a minority, but he said many just let their personal grooming slip. Some didn't even care if their panties were showing. Well, I guess that goes without saying anyway. Okay, so they're talking about the girls. I thought they were talking about guys for some reason. In addition, the classrooms have a distinctive order. Sweat mixed together with makeup and food. So it's like a girl's locker room. It's just... really can't smell the sweat with all the hairspray, deodorant, body spray. Yeah. It's like walking into a room filled with gas without a gas mask. You might die. You never know if you're gonna make it out alive. And for some reason, they really like poop jokes. Are you sure this isn't an all-boys school? I was a full-blooded man, and I didn't have certain illusions. And I did have certain illusions about girls. Okay, so I can see how that can disillusion you. There's a part of me that was afraid of cracks forming in those illusions. But that wasn't true at all. No one's panties were showing. Of course not true. No, I think everyone's hair should be nice too. The room actually had a nice smell to it. As far as I could see, for a second I thought they said poison. They were all poisoned young ladies. They were all polished young ladies. I guess Vincent's is a cut above in more respects than one.
Masaya-san.
Huh?
何かわからないことがあったら遠慮なく聞いてくださいな。
If you find anything you don't understand, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thanks.
授業はどうだった？ちゃんとわかったかしら？
And now it's recess. Okay. How was class? Did everything make sense? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can keep up.
そう、それはよかった。転入なんて何かと大変でしょうし、その点ちょっと心配ではあったの。
I see. I'm glad to hear that. I know that changing schools can be difficult in that regard. I did see religious theory on the schedule. I've never had that class before.
それは普通の道徳と捉えていただいて結構よ。ミッション系としての特色はありますけどね。
You should be fine, as long as you have basic morals. Although, there are some aspects particular to missionary teachings. My, Risa-san is just speaking to that boy. She really is progressive, isn't she? Huh? I glanced over at the source of the whispers. Risa-san seemed to hear them as well, but she just shrugged. Just keep on ignoring them. It's to be expected from the first day, after all. They'll get used to it, though. Right. But while their reaction to me was natural, they also seemed to be giving Risa-san a wide berth. Huh? And there's Karen staring at me. What is it? Masaya-san? No. I just had this feeling I was being watched. I took a look out the door. But there was no one in the hallway, except people walking past. It does seem possible. For better or for worse, you are a person of interest now. Right. That is true. But still. Don't let it bother you. Risa-san seemed to think it was just anxiety, so she reassured me and then left the room. It isn't that. It's hard to explain, but there had been a certain intensity in that gaze. She was out to kill you. Like their eyes were looking right through me. I didn't expect someone to have a personal grudge against me on the first day. It couldn't just be someone with a crush. That'd be too convenient. Probably the opposite. It must be someone who really hates men. As the recess began following the second period, the class suddenly broke out into whispers. And it's recess again. The entire class turned towards the door. A group of students entered. It's Grand Flare! Or Grande Fleur. Another French word, another title. Great Flower. I guess that makes sense. I can kind of see Great Flower. Myogi Maraca. Or America's. Might call her Maraca. Maraca. What could La Tote Sor possibly want with us? Everyone's big sister. This is the only title which assumes the law article. It is not a title given to an individual, but is assumed by the student council president. Because Maraca is the current student council president and refers currently to Maraca. Hmm? Let's see. Guess I'll go deeper for you. Please try. Okanagi Masaya-kun, might I request a moment of your time? Oh, of course. Wow, she's gorgeous. A girl who could give Risa-san a run for her money stood at the head of the group with a literally air. Don't think that's a real word, but okay. Marika. Okay. My name is Miyogi Marika. I've come here to bid you hello to you. Here to bid hello to you, Masai-kun. Well, thank you. Latote Sower. Latote Sower. Came especially to see him? I can't believe it! That's preposterous! You should have gone to her! Oh no! You can't be allowed to visit Marika-sama? Well, what should I have done then? Huh? Miyogi? What of it? Oh, nothing. The name was familiar, but I couldn't remember where I heard it. Risa-san said it. La Tote Sorer, is that your nickname, Miyogi-san? Nickname? A girl at the back of the crowd stepped forward and glared at me sharply. Too many people. I already gave my little voice, my little high voice. There's too many people. There's only so many voices I can do. If only it could go like an octave higher than Marika, so... Did you just say nickname? How rude! The term is title. Right. Mitsuki-san, Masai-san has only been attending the school for one day. It isn't natural that he should be unfamiliar with Vincent's vocabulary. Don't you agree? In addition, you don't get to call her Miyogi-san. Address her as Marika-sama. Understand? Right. That's enough, Mitsuki. But... I'm afraid that it doesn't seem proper to address Masai-kun without an honorific either. Well then, Masai-kun, it seems your first goal will be to pass the premier judgment at the end of the first term. I wish you luck. Farewell. With that, Marika and her entourage departed the classroom. The entire class let out a sigh of relief. Is she famous or something? Yes. Even before she became Le Tote Soeur and class president, she was already renowned as Grand Fleur. Huh? I can see that I'm speaking nonsense to you. I'll explain later. Please do. I feel like I'm walking through a minefield here. Why did that girl get so mad at me? Mitsuki-san is... She's a friend of yours? The students of Vincennes are all friends in a way. That is what family means. I see. Mitsuki-san has changed so much since she became Mirika-sama's chef de corpse. She was never like that before. Oh. Can I go back? I forgot. Backlog.
美月さんはマリカ様のシェフドコールとなってから美月さんはマリカ様のシェフドコールとなってから少し変わってしまった。前はああいう感じではなくて。
Nope, I can't go back. I'll never know what that means now. Oh well. I'll probably show up again then, since they always do. The bell rang and we took our seats. Everyone at school was like friends and family. I didn't think she was lying, but in a school with several hundred students, some relationships will be stronger than others. Probably just means she's like the vice president or something. That's what I think it means. Since chef probably doesn't really mean chef since it's all in French. It seemed to me that Rise-san's relationship to Mitsuki had been one of the stronger ones. And lunch break. It was our long-awaited lunch break. Rise-san led me to the dining hall. Wow, I'm hungry. You're always hungry, aren't you? I overslept this morning. I didn't even notice when the staff knocked on my door to wake me up. How are you enjoying life in the dormitory? Any problems? None at all. It's like a dream. And the school? Are you acclimating? Well, it's only the first day after all. I know how you feel, but you can't spend all of your time feeling ashamed. Right. I feel conspicuous, even walking through the halls, but I'd probably be used to that after a few days. It was everything else that would be the challenge. I know it will all go well. I'm sure you'll have a long association with this school, right? Right. Oh, this place looks great! Yes, the dining hall is a very popular place. Because everyone loves food. I bet. Well, let's get lined up. First, you need to take a chip. Chip? There was a basket on the corner table. The students were pulling out token-like discs from it. The chips represent a menu item. There will always be 2 main dishes which change daily. Where do we pay? Well, it's a private school, so probably all free. Or tuition, yeah. Payment is included in our tuition, so it's free. I see. I feel a little guilty. I never pay tuition. Of course not. You're here on scholarship after all. I was also getting an allowance from the school, but if I wasn't spending it on meals, I wasn't sure where I would use it. Clothes, deodorant, soap. There's other things you could spend it on. The menu was pasted up next to the box. It looked like a Western and Japanese meals option. Guess I'll have a lasagna. I'd only had it a few times before. What about you, Rise-san? I believe I'll have the soba. We took our orders from the counter, then quickly took our seats. Let's eat! Huh? Oh, I thought it said she was macking. I was like, what? Rise was making the sign of the cross. Oh, it's just a habit. Even though I'm not a Christian, I've just been at Vincennes for so long. It seems like Vincennes has a lot of customs of its own.
そうそう、それについて教える約束だったわね。じゃあ食べながら。
Yes, that's right. I promised to tell you about that. We'll talk while we eat. I listened to Reese's explanation while the delicious food danced on my tongue.
さっきもちらっと話題に出た一名だけど、番宣ヌではお互いに何かと別名をつけたがるの。
First, regarding titles, I've been scenes, many of us have a second name we're known by. They're basically like nicknames, right?
ええ。たださっき美月さんが色をなしたように、ここではあだ名という言葉は使わないわ。なぜと言われても困るのだけど。
Probably because titles seems more prestigious or something, or high class. Yes, although as Mitsuki-san illustrated earlier, we don't call them nicknames here. I couldn't tell you why. I see. It all seemed very complicated, but I promised to pay attention. When in Rome, as they say.
それから定冠詞の「ら」をつけられるのは生徒会長の1名だけ。
In addition, only the student council's president's title takes a definition article law. The definition... the definite article? You mean like the in English, right? Yep, that's what law means in French and Spanish.
そう。そして生徒会長の1名は「ラ・トゥトゥスール」。これはそうと決まっているの。
That's right. The student council president's title is La Totesore. This is as it's always been. What does that mean?
みんなのお姉様。
Everyone's big sister. I see. There's an appropriate title for the student council president.
マリカ様個人の一名はグランデフルール。意味は大輪の花。
Marika-sama's personal title, Grand Flore, means great flower. She did have a grand sort of air to her, though she wasn't ostentatious about it.
そうね。生徒会長に選出されるくらいだもの。元から人気は抜群だったわ。
That's true. She's always been popular, obviously enough to be elected president. Then what was Mitsuki-san's? You said something like chef something?
シェフドコール。意味は親衛隊長よ。
Chef de corps. It means captain of the guard. And now I can look you up. Captain of the guard. Mikata Mitsuki's title. This title was bestowed upon her due to her persistent loyalty to the student council president, Mayogi Marika. Captain of the guard? I just figured she was a really good cook or something.
ああ、シェフ？辞書にはそっちの意味も載っているわ。綴りが同じなの。
So she cooks for the president too? Ah, chef? It does have that meaning as well, of course. The origin is the same.
美月さんはマリカ様のなんていうか取り巻きなのよ。そこから付けられた一名。
Mitsuki-san is, how to put it, one of Marika-sama's retinue? That's where the title came from. Retinue, huh? Marika-san had brought a small group with her, which included Mitsuki-san. She had looked a bit like a hospital director surrounded by doctors and nurses. Sounds like you don't like it, being part of a retinue.
そうね。ちょっと性に合わないわね。
That's true. It doesn't really suit me.
誰かの取り巻きになるということは、物の見方、考え方までその人に依拠してしまうということだわ。
Being part of someone else's retinue means you become dependent on them for ways of looking and thinking about things.
私はそういうのは好きになれない。
I could never approve of that. Maybe that way of thinking was why Risa-san had put herself at the vanguard of school reform. Do you have a title, Risa-san?
まあね。私はソレイユ・デコール。
Well, yes. I'm known as Soleil de École. What does it mean? Sun
学園
something.
の太陽よ。
another school. Because you're always thinking about the school and fighting for the school. That's probably why. Oh, I like that. High praise, but I could see where it came from. And in Risa-san's case, it wasn't just her beauty. She had even slipped out of school to do her scouting work. That kind of decisiveness had probably earned her notice. Oh, please, don't look at me like that. Oh, sorry. It's not that I don't like it, but I don't like this custom that seems to rank students by worth. But I do like titles that reflect a person's personality. For instance, Mitsuko, whom you met this morning. What's her title? Belle Epine. Now I sound Italian. It means beautiful briar rose. And that's it. She gives one line. That's all she deserves. Yeah. That does seem to suit her. Doesn't it? And I already forgot who Mitsuko was. Wait, she was the girl with blue hair. Probably was. Well, I think that's about it for titles. Next, I think I'll tell you about ordinary modes of dress. There are rules about those too? That's right. Mitsuki had mentioned something about that too. In addition, you don't get to call her Mayogi-san. Address her as Marika-sama. Understand? At the time, I had no idea what she was talking about. Those of a higher grade level are given the suffix sama to show respect. Those of the same grade level are given the suffix san to show closeness. The lower grade levels get nothing. Those of a lower grade level are given no suffix to show affection. This is how we do things in Vincines. I could see what she meant. Risa-san had followed those rules in speaking to everyone around her. I'm going to try as hard as I can to do things the Vincent's way. Though saying sama is going to be hard to get used to. I think you'll be fine doing things the way you have been. Really? You don't want to blend in so much that you ignore the differences between men and women. Do you see what I mean? You're here to change Vincines, after all. Of course, you can't do everything by yourself. But you're the kind of man who can change the perceptions of people around you. I am? She's given me way too much credit. I didn't think I was that influential. But I would have to give it a try. At least, if I wanted to stay here until graduation. Of course not. I don't intend to turn you into the second coming of Jesus, of course. But you did come here to take up a sword and fight. This won't be a peaceful revolution. As we spoke, someone appeared beside us at the table. And kind of voice of that. Excuse me, could I cut in it? Oh, Tommy-san.
はじめまして。私は乃木民江。報道部のエースよ。
I feel like she's talking way too fast. Pleasure to meet you. I am Tommy. I'm the news club ace reporter.
これから1年かどうかわからないけれど、あなたの活動をつぶさに報道させてもらうから、どうぞよろしく。
Cause now I see the camera. I'm going to report on your activities for the year. Or, well, however long you stay. I wanted to introduce myself. Oh, well, nice to meet you. I'm Okanagi Messiah. I'm the Messiah. now I get my name. Rise had referred to her with San. That meant she was a second-year student. I guess that's why she talks so fast, because she's a reporter. Well, let's have a quick interview. Do you mind? What? Tammy produced a microphone, a recorder, and a camera out of nowhere. Yeah, the camera right there. Then she turned the camera towards me. Wow, the camera just loves you. Come on, smile, smile. What? Oh, Tommy-san, you're making him uncomfortable. Well, we'll do the pictures later then. Wouldn't want to get stuck with a bad picture. We want you looking nice and handsome, right? We'll get the interview out of the way then. That okay? And I get a mic. Before I could even answer, she clicked on the recorder and turned the mic to me. I bent back in my chair and asked her the question that had been bugging me. Do you always carry those around with you? Of course! My microphone, recorder, and camera are all my holy trinity. Right. I didn't quite know what holy trinity meant, but it sounded impressive. Messiah-san, this is a good opportunity for us. What? Yeah, I guess it would help you make a good first impression. Well, we need to let people know who you are. It would be best for us to make use of mass media. That's right! Our news club publishes a newspaper daily. We leave them in the classrooms in the morning, so give it a read tomorrow. Right. We didn't have the main edition because it's the first day today. But look, we published an extra. Tammy pulled out an A3 size piece of newsprint. Amazing! An extra about what? It would be a disgrace to the news club's name not to publish a big news like this, right? Fresh off the presses. Have a look if you want. Thank you. Thanks. The mode quotidine. It sure is frustrating though. Even with our network, we couldn't break this story earlier. It happened in the middle of spring vacation, and we wanted to avoid causing a fuss. No one even saw you. How long have you been here? Since April 1st. Since April's full day? Wow.
じゃあずっと部屋に？
And you've been in your room the whole time? Yes.
なるほどね。わからないはずだわ。
I see. That would explain it.
けど、いいわ。新年度の一発目にこういう爆弾が投じられるっていうのは大いに楽しくていいじゃない。
But, oh well. It's fun to get a bombshell dropped right in your lap at the start of the new year. Tommy-san, are you? Yeah? I don't mean this in a negative way, but you talk like a normal person. That is to say, closer to what I'm used to.
ああ、まあそうでしょうね。だって私は中期課程からのお客さんだもの。
Oh, I guess that's true. Probably because I'm an intermediary course tourist. That's something I've been wondering about. What is this intermediary course?
前期、中期、後期課程の一貫教育なのよ、バンセンヌは。
Primary, intermediary, and final course are the stages of Vincenne's education. Oh, I see.
ちょっと場所は違うのだけど、同じ安室山に前期課程の校舎もあるわ。中期課程は目の前ね。
The primary course building is here on Mount Amuro as well, but in a different location, the intermediary course building is right in front of us. Now that she mentions it, there were two school buildings facing each other. I see. What do you mean by tourist then?
それは
That's...
私のことはいいじゃない。今インタビューされているのはマサヤさん、君よ。
Well, enough about me. Besides, one's the interviewee here. Right. Though, I am still eating. Tammy seemed like a very forceful person.
じゃあまずはうちに来ることになった経緯から。これは普通に考えても大変なことよ。
Let's start with what you brought here. It seems like it must be a strange set of circumstances.
だってそうでしょ。私どう考えても特待留学生なんて無理だって思っていたもの。
Am I right? I never thought they'd find a proper student for the special scholarship.
それがこうしてやってきた。それも1年生ならまだしもマサヤさんは2年生、つまり転入ということになる。
And yet, you're here! Plus, you're not a freshman, you're a second-year student, which means you had to transfer.
この辺りの経緯、みんな相当気にしているの。さ、聞かせてちょうだい。
I think everyone would like to know how you ended up here. How about giving us a statement? I glanced over at Risu-san. She looked back at me blankly.
何かしら。
I'm poor. What is it? Well, I mean, should I be honest?
どういう意味かしら。だってマサヤさん、あの夜の行動はとても立派だったじゃない。
What do you mean? You acted wonderfully that night, Masaya-san. But what about happened before then? Hmm? About my background, since in a way I threw away my whole life so that I could come here. Which means I had to kind of think of a background it's okay to make a wash of. I don't know if it's okay to say that flat out, but I can't just lie about it either.
マサヤさん、あなたが言っているのは家庭の事情のことかしら。
Masaya-san, you are referring to your family situation, I suppose? Well, yeah.
引け目を感じていると、そういうこと？
That it makes you feel inferior? Yeah.
マサヤさん、親と子供は別の存在なのよ。
Masaya-san, the child and the parent are entirely separate people. Risa-san leaned forward and looked sharply into my eyes.
恥じるべきは借金を作った本人であって、 間違ってもその経類ではない。私はそう思うわ。
The person who should feel ashamed is the man who earned that debt, not the person he forced it on. That's what I believe.
とにかくマサヤさん本人は立派な人なんですから、気にせずインタビューに応じなさいな。
Well, it's probably going to be worse than you thought. Aw. I believe that you yourself are a fine man, so please, relax and give your interview. Right. I will.
あら、二人はまだ出会って間もないんでしょ？早くもソレイユ・デコールの信頼を勝ち取っているみたいじゃない。
Oh my! You two just met, haven't you? Yet you've already won the trust of our Soleil de École?
私の見る目の正しさにみんなきっとびっくりするわよ。
I just know everyone will be surprised by the excellence of my judgment.
大きく出たわね。マサヤさん、インタビューを始めさせてもらうわよ。
That remains to be seen. Well, Messiah-san, let's get to the interview. Time was short, so I had to do it quickly, but I told her the story from beginning to end. And more ellipses. Risa-san addressed me as we returned to class.
そうそう、言うのを忘れていたけれど、放課後はマサヤさんも付き合ってくださる？
That's right. I forgot to mention. But would you come with me after class? What's going on after class?
今朝、理事長がおっしゃっていたわね。白百合会と紅バラ会の役員は放課後、理事長室に集まるようにと。
The chairwoman mentioned it this morning. The officers of the White Lily and Red Rose Societies have come to her office.
私は白百合会の役員だから行かなければならないのだけど。
I'm an officer of the White Lily Society, so I have to go.
マサヤさんも参加した方がいいと思って。きっと今回の件に絡んだ話でしょうし。
I thought it might be nice if you came along. I'm sure the discussion will be about you. Well, obviously, but... Do you really want to have a discussion about them not wanting him to be here in front of him? Got it. But what about the White Lily and Red Rose Societies?
そうね、生徒会の下部でもないか、補完する組織というか。
They're the student council servants. Rather, they're supplementary societies.
まあ、放課後ご説明するわ。
Well, I'll explain it to you after class. Got it. And after school. After class, I went with Risu-san to the chairwoman's office.
じゃあ理事長のお話を伺う前に、改めてマサヤさんの立場やバンセンヌの状況についておさらいしておくわね。
Before we hear what the chairwoman has to say, let's review your place here at Vincent's current state. Yeah, let's do that. So much has happened. My head is still spinning.
まずはバンセンヌの状況から。生徒数の減少や建物の建て替えがあったために財務が悪化しているわ。
First, Vincent's current state, we're losing students, and the reconstruction of the campus buildings has left us in dire financial straits. Shouldn't have remodeled.
回復するには生徒が増えてくれるしかないけれど、長年の傾向から言ってそれはどうにも期待薄。
Lower your prices. In order to recover, we need more students. However, given the trend of the last few years, that seems unlikely.
有効な手立てとしてはただ一つ、男子を受け入れ共学にすること。けれどそれには当然批判も大きくて。
Getting a little sleepy. The only reliable method would be to accept boys to the school and become co-educational. But of course, there are those that are opposed to the idea.
そうして理事会は長年割れていたけれど、理事長の裁断で一歩前進することになった。
The board of directors was split for a long time, until the chairwoman finally made a ruling.
それがサンプルとしての男子を受け入れるということ。マサヤさん、あなたのことよ。
She said that we would accept one sample male student. That's You, of course, Messiah-san. Right.
この場合、サンプルは何を意味するか。学校変革の是非は生徒たち自身の判断に委ねられることになったわ。
What is the purpose of the sample? Because the question of freeform is to be decided by the students themselves.
でもそれには男子というものがそもそもどういう存在なのかがわからなければ判断のしようもないでしょ。
But because so few of them have experienced the company of boys before, they won't be able to make an informed decision.
理事長もおっしゃっていたように、留学生の男子はその判断のための材料なの。
As the chairwoman said, male transfer students would be needed to help guide their judgment.
もちろん、マサヤさんが男子一般を代表しているなどということは決して言えないけどね。
Naturally, we don't expect you to represent the entirety of the male sex. That's one thing I'm not sure about. Shouldn't a sample involve a few more people? Was it just that you couldn't find anyone else?
いいえ、特待留学生は一人。これはそう決まっていたの。
No, they just wanted one student. That was also consciously decided. Why?
それを主導したのは主給派の理事たちよ。理由は想像がつくわね。
The traditionalist board members demanded it. Can you imagine why that might be? That would be? So the experiment would fail, and the school would eventually close down. Because they don't want boys in the school.
Oui.
And you're French. Oui.
ただこれは主給派にとってはっきり言って失敗だったのではないかと私は思うの。
But I believe this was a mistake on the part of the traditionalist faction. A mistake? Why?
だって100人中51人の有望株と1人のそれ、後者の方が簡単ではなくて？
True. They did kind of make your job easier. Well, to find 51 good people out of 100, or just one. The latter is easier, don't you think? Well, I guess so.
それだけあなたに期待しているということよ、マサヤさん。
That's how much we're counting on you, Messiah-san. Right.
特待留学生に課せられた義務というか、向けられた期待は周囲の意識を変えていくこと。
The mission of the scholarship student, or rather, what we hope to see, is for you to change how the others feel.
ここではっきり伝えておくわ。生徒の間で改革派は現状、私一人と考えていただいて結構よ。
Let me make this very clear. At present, it is safe to assume that, of the entire student body, I am the only one in favor of reform. I see.
人は誰しも変化を恐れ、厭うもの。私はそれをよく知っている。
Everyone fears change. I know that as well as anyone. But they know the school will close otherwise, right? How can you be the only one?
例えばの話、マサヤさんは自分の死を思うかしら。
That took a dark turn. Let me make an example. Have you ever thought about your own death, Messiah-san? What?
きっと今から1世紀のうちには必ず訪れる自分の死。そのことを深く考えることはあって？
I guess it's kind of the same thing. At some point within the next century, you will die. By my hand. Have you ever thought seriously about that? Well, no.
私もきっとそれと似たようなことなんじゃないかしらね。
Neither have I. I believe this may be a similar mindset at play. I see.
でも私はバンセンヌはいつまでも残ってほしいと思う。
But I want Vincent's to stay here forever. Well, that's not forever. Issei-san had said that once before. She was hoping for reform because she loved Vincent's.
それとあともう一つ。私はそもそも女子校より共学の方がいいと思っているところもあるの。
There is another reason as well. I believe it would be better off as a co-educational school than as an all-girls one. Huh? Really?
私、男子も捨てたものではないということを 知っているから。
Because I know how indispensable men really are. Huh?
まあ個人的な思いは脇に置いても、世の中には2つしか性がないのだから、片方をしかも徹底的に排除するのはどうかと思うわね。
Well, setting aside my personal opinion, there are only two sexes in the world. It seems odd to dismiss one of them entirely. I guess so.
さて、マサヤさんはこれから特待留学生として自分を周りに認めさせなければならないわ。
Well, Messiah-san, from now on, your duty as a scholarship student is to make those around you accept your presence. In other words, to make them think I deserve to save Vincent's.
そう。そして最初の審判が1学期の最後にあるわ。これについては本当に申し訳なく思っているんだけど。
That's right. And the first test will be at the end of the first trimester. I really do feel sorry about that. No, that's fine. Rise-san sounded genuinely upset about it.
このことは妙義様が強硬に主張したという話。こんなの特待生本人や改革派にとっては不利になるだけだし。
Myogi-sama was very insistent on that point. It puts the scholarship student and the reform party at a great disadvantage. Oh, that's right. When Marika-san arrived, I thought her last name sounded familiar.
ええ、マリカ様のおばあ様だから相談役の妙義様は。
Yes, Myogi-sama, the board advisor, is Marika-sama's grandmother. Does everyone's grandmother work here? Which means that Marika-san is against us?
多分。
It is likely. Her expression was very serious. As La Totsure, Marika was bound to carry a lot of influence. Risa-san was Sole de Eclos, and clearly had a lot of influence on her own, but I'm starting to feel nervous about this. Either way, it would be hard to pass any reform if the elected student body president wasn't in favor of it.
ただハードルは低いと思うの。最初のボートのことですけど、だって学校自体の変革よりは受け入れやすいでしょ。
I believe the first vote will be a low hurdle, though. At the least, it is easier to accept than school-wide reform, don't you think? I guess.
そうよ。だからまあそこでの勝利はもう決まったものとしてと。
It's true. Though, of course, we don't want to declare victory just yet. Mise-san spoke the words as if it was a warning to herself, then continued.
そして年度末にはいよいよグランデボートがあるわ。ただこの選挙は元来は生徒会長を決めるためのもので。
Then, at the end of the year, we'll hold the grand vote. In actuality, this vote is just about electing the next student council president. But it made sense. The president of boys was so irregular, there wouldn't be a system in place for it.
生徒会長選は全校生徒による投票になるの。これはどこも同じかしら。
All the students vote in the student council election. This is the same everywhere, right? That's right. It was the same at my school.
それで原則誰にでも立候補の権利はあるんでしょ？
And generally, anyone can announce themselves as a candidate, right? Yeah. And it's different in Vincent's. Is it different?
権利だけならあるわ。ただ慣例というか伝統というか、うちの場合立候補するのはたった2人に絞られるの。
Technically, anyone can. But you could call it a precedent or tradition, but usually, there can only be 2 candidates.
1人が白百合会の会頭、そしてもう1人が紅バラ会の会頭ということになります。
One is the head of the White Lily Society. The other is the head of the Red Rose Society. So if it's Suko and you, those were the 2 groups that had been called to the chairwoman's office.
ところで会頭の選出は生徒会長選と違って1学期が始まってすぐなのよ。
By the way, unlike the president, selection of the society heads is done immediately after the beginning of the first term. Oh, so it's coming soon, right?
ええ、実は今日なの。理事長の話が終わり次第、投票に移るわ。
Yes, it's actually today. The vote will take place immediately after we speak to the chairwoman. Which meant that, unlike the council elections, the societies chose their own officers.
もっとも、3学期のうちに話し合いで決めてしまうから、ほとんど形式的なものね。
Although, we usually decide it amongst ourselves at the end of the third term, so it's really just a formality.
つまり、今の段階で内定者は決まっているということ。白百合会は私で、紅バラ会は美月さんだわ。
I thought Ritsuka was the Briar Rose. Oh, I don't know. Because it would make sense for her to be head of the Red Rose. That's to say, we've already unofficially been chosen. I'm the head of the White Lily Society, and Mitsuki-san is the head of the Red Rose. Oh, so next year's election will be a contest between the two of you?
そういうこと。そして2人が掲げるマニフェストは、私が変革で、美月さんが保守本道というところね。
That's right. And we'll each present our manifesto. Mine will be reform, and Mitsuki-san's will be preservation of the old ways. In other words, the fate of the school reform came down to which one was elected president. You could almost say that they had appropriated the meaning of the traditional grand vote just to represent that decision.
実際に競うのは白百合会と紅バラ会であり、私と美月さんだけど。
In reality, it will be the White Lily Society and the Red Rose Society, Mitsuki-san and I, competing.
勝敗の命運を握るのはきっとあなただわ。
But the real deciding factor will be you.
だから頑張ってくださいな。
So please, do the best that you can. Risa-san reached out to take my hand. I didn't have a lot of confidence, but I did want to continue attending Vincene's. Right. Oh my, they're holding hands! She really is progressive, isn't she? It's just a handshake, you know. And to the chairwoman's office. About a dozen people were gathered in the chairwoman's office.
全員が集まったわね。
It looks like you're all here.
すみません、遅くなって。ちょっとこれまでのことで彼と話し合っていて。
I'm sorry I'm late. I was speaking to him about everything that had happened.
リセ様、マサヤ様はアソシアシオンの役員ではありませんが。
And I should remember your voice. Heisei-sama, Masaya-sama is not a member of the association. And what's the association before I forget? Translates literally to political party. At Vincene's, it refers to the White Lily Society with which Risei is affiliated, and the Red Rose Society with which Itsuka is affiliated. I knew she would be part of the Red Rose Society. Their role is to assist and support the student council. In addition, the custom is for the student council president to come from one of these associations. Whoa. Even I get to be a Sama? That's kind of weird.
分かっていてよ、そんなことは。でもどうせマサヤさんも関係のある話なのだから。
I am well aware of that, but Masaya-san will be the subject of the conversation.
ですが。
Even so.
まあまあ、いいでしょう。
Now, it's no trouble. The chairwoman spoke placatingly.
孫の肩を持つわけではありませんが、リセの言う通りではあります。彼もいた方が話は早いですから。
I'm not trying to give my granddaughter special treatment, but Risei is correct. It will be easier if he is here for the discussion.
わかりました。
Very well. Mitsuko-chan, I would call her in my mind. She was younger after all. Definitely relented, yes. And definitely spelled wrong. Or define, I don't know. She's an officer then? I wonder which society. I wonder which. The students in the room were subtly divided into two groups. If these were the White Lily and Red Rose societies, then Mitsuka-chan, who was standing with Mitsuki-san, was a Red Rose.
さて、皆さんに集まってもらったのは他でもありません。来年のグランデボートに関してです。
I believe you all know why I've called you here. It regards next year's grand vote.
学校の制度を根本的に変えるという時は、やはりそれ相応の民意が形成されるべきでしょう。
When changing fundamental principles of school policy, naturally, the people's will is required.
マサヤ君は生徒たちの判断の良姿としてこうして転入してくれたわけですが、それだけでは足りないと私は考えました。
Masaya-kun was allowed to come here to help to guide that will. But I don't believe that will be enough.
そこで白百合会と紅バラ会にはその足りないところを補ってもらいたいのです。
I would like the White Lily and Red Rose societies to assist him.
というと
What do you mean?
それが民意の形成です。これからの1年、来たるグランデボートに備えて生徒たちの考えをしっかり進化させてほしいのです。
To shape the will of the people. In the year to come, I want you all to work to educate the students in preparation for the grand vote.
フィユドラ・バンセンヌの良識を疑うわけではありませんが、グランデボートは本来生徒たちの単なる人気投票という側面も強いですからね。
While I do not doubt the judgment of the Filles de la Vincennes, there is a tendency to treat the grand vote as a popularity contest. And what's that? Maidens of Vincennes. It refers to the students of Vincennes Girls Academy. Okay. Can't just say students? Be a lot easier to say.
今回ばかりはそんなものではないのだとしっかり宣伝してもらいたいのです。
I want you all to work hard to make sure that doesn't happen this time.
といったことを伝えるためにここにこうして集まってもらったわけですが、
That is what
美月はどう思います？
That is what I called you here to say. How do you feel, Mitsuki?
もちろん否やはありません。いずれにしろ生徒会長の選出がイコール学園の未来を決めるということですし。
Naturally, I have no objections. Everyone knows that this student council election will represent the school's future.
では、理性は？
I see. Rise?
もちろんです。最初から私はそのつもりでした。
I agree completely. This was my intent from the beginning.
そう。であれば、今年はアソシアシオンに精一杯汗をかいてもらうということで。
I see. Then I expect both associations to work diligently on the matter this year.
他に意見はありませんか？
Are there any objections? No particular objections came from the Mitsuki-san's group, but from Rise-san's group, in other words, my so-called allies, a voice spoke up. I cannot participate, although I do not disagree with you in concept.
それはどうしてかしら、ユミ？
Why is that, Yumi? Because I am against freeform. That's right. Rise-san said she was the only one on the side of reform. Just because they were members of the White Lily Society didn't necessarily mean they agreed with Rise-san's ideas. So to tell me that I must act to aid reform, if I may be blunt, it's ridiculous.
Yumi.
Pardon me, Rise-sama, but I absolutely refuse to participate in this task.
こちらこそごめんなさい。私が軽率でした。
No, I'm sorry. I spoke thoughtlessly.
白百合会、紅バラ会という単位で考えてしまい、
I was thinking of the white lily and red rose as blocks. I failed to acknowledge that their members have their own beliefs. The girl named Yumi looked at the floor in silence for a time, and finally spoke in a whisper. It's just that the eventual fate of our school will come down to the results of the grand vote. And so, She untied the ribbon on her arm.
Yumi.
Oh, they do have a ribbon on their arm. She's quitting this society, I think. I return this to you, Rise-sama. She held the ribbon out to Rise-san, who took it wide-eyed. It was then that I noticed she was wearing the same ribbon on her own arm. You can't afford a real badge? Not just her, Mitsuki-san and Mitsuka-san had them too, though the color was different. Why don't they have a white one if they're white lilies? Oh well. Excuse me. She left the room hurriedly. Another student addressed Rise-san. It appears that the lion's share of the work for reform has at some point been pushed onto our association. Rise, do you intend to fight this battle under the banner of reform?
Hi.
Yes. Then, I cannot participate either. One refusal came after another. In the end, all the members of the White Lily Society had left the room. Wow, not even one stayed behind. Rise-san stood there dejectedly with countless blue ribbons in her hands, staring at the door from which her allies had gone. I was so naive. I just assumed that the members of the White Lily would agree to help me. Even though I knew from the start that they were all against reform. Well, what will you do, Rise-san? You seem to have lost all your allies. Oh. I get a choice after like 4 hours into the game. Don't speak. I guess I'll have to speak. Not all of them. What? I'm here. Even though I technically don't count, but okay. Masaya-san. Listen, you can't just join in an association. The positions were chosen last year by a vote among the previous members. We all had to go through the voting process. Do you think you can just waltz in here and... I may not know much about Vincent's organizations, and I may not be an official member, but I don't care. I'm still going to help Rise-san. Can't possibly object to that, can you? Mitsuki-san let out a huffy breath and turned back to Rise-san. Well then, Rise-san, what do you intend to do? The White Lily Society members have all returned their ribbons. Do you really intend to compete in the grand vote without the backing of the White Lily Society? Yes, of course. Rise-san nodded defiantly. You've always been strong-willed, and I always admire that. Okanogi Masaya-san. Yeah? I am against you, against boys, and against integration.
申し訳ないですけれど、1学期で出て行っていただくわ。失礼。
Well, at least you're telling this all to my face, at least. I mean no offense, but I intend to get you out of here by the end of the first term. Excuse me. With those clipped words, she marched out of the room, her footsteps ringing behind her.
ベルエピーヌ、あなたも同じ考え?
Who was that again? Oh, yeah, Mitsuko. Belly and Penny, do you feel the same way?
私は決まり事や秩序を乱されることに最も違和感を覚えます。
I would feel uncomfortable overturning the way things have always been.
ダーシと机を並べたいという気持ちも特にありませんし、まあそれは当然のことですが。
I don't particularly like the idea of having class with boys. Well, I suppose that stands to reason. But still.
今を変えたいという気持ちがないということは、文字通りの主級派ということです。私も美月様と同じです。
I suppose that makes me a true traditionalist. In that regard, Mitsuki-sama and I are the same.
そう。
I see.
理事長、話は以上でしょうか?
Will that be all, Madam Chairwoman?
ええ、そうね。
Yes, I think so.
では、私も失礼します。
Then, if you will excuse me. The Red Rose members left one by one, till it was just us and the chairwoman in the room alone.
じゃあ、私たちも行きましょうか。おばあ様、ごきげんよう。
I suppose we will be going as well. Salutations, grandmother.
はい、ごきげんよう。
Yes, salutations.
リセはどうやら本当に素敵な男子を見つけたみたいね。
You jelly? Rise has certainly found herself a fine young man.
さーて、困ったことになってしまったわね。
And back to the happy music. Now then. This will be quite difficult. But despite Rise-san's words, I could sense a smile on her tone.
けれどまあ、なんとかなるわよね。二人が力を合わせれば。
But I think it will all work out. Somehow. We just need to work together. Objectively speaking, things had quickly gone from bad to worse. Yet for some reason, I felt a strange sort of confidence. As long as Rise-san did everything she could, things would work out. Yeah. I gave her a firm nod and shook her hand again. This time there was no students around us, and no whispers to accompany it, because it's after school. And to the student castle.
そんなことになったのですか?
And we're changing views. I see. So that's what happened.
正直びっくりしました。まさか一人でもやっていくだなんて。
I really was surprised. I never thought you would try it alone.
ソレイユ・デコールの一命に偽りはないということなのでしょうね。
She isn't known as Soleil de École for nothing after all.
でも今回ばかりはリセさんの負けのはずです。だって役員が全員抜けて選挙に勝てるはずがないですから。
But I'm afraid Rise-san is going to lose this time. You can't win an election without officers backing you.
ええ、そうでしょうね。
Yes, that is true.
ただ念には念を入れて、私は紅バラ会の会頭を降りようと思います。
But just for safety's sake, I believe I should drop out as head of the Red Rose Society.
どういう意味?
What do you mean?
リセさんの方が私より人気が高いのは事実ですから。
It is true that Rise-san is much more popular than I am.
あら、そんな。美月だってとても魅力的なのに。
Oh, don't say that. You're very charming, Mitsuki.
それ で回答は律子にやってもらおうと思うんです。
Even so, I think that Ritsuko would do better as head of the society. So do I.
律子に
Ritsuko?
回答を1年生が務めてはいけないという規定はありませんから。
There's no rules against a freshman leading a society after all.
確かにありませんね。
That is true.
ベルエピーヌの人気はリセさんに引けを取らないものがあります。彼女が回答になればきっと勝てるはずです。
Belle Epini's popularity is equal to Rise-san's. If she were to lead the society, a victory would be assured.
律子にその話はしたの？
Have you spoken with Ritsuko about it?
断りはしないと思います。
I don't believe she'll refuse.
でしょうね。
You are likely correct.
お姉様、一つだけ教えてください。
Oni-sama, please, tell me just one thing.
何？一つと言わず何でも聞いて結構よ。
What is it? You know that you can ask me anything.
お姉様はどう思っていらっしゃるんですか？来年の変革。
Oni-sama, what do you think about the reforms they're proposing?
美月、私が最も大切に思っていることが何であるか分かって。
Natsuki, do you know what I treasure more than anything in this world?
それはバンセンヌの安寧を守ること。なぜなら私はラテトゥスールなのだから。
Maintaining the peace of Vincines. That is because I am La Tote Sor.
じゃあ
Well, then...
まずはあの人の本性を知るところから始めましょう。美月も付き合ってくれるわね。
Well, I believe the first thing to do is to determine his character. Would you come with me, Mitsuki?
はい。
Yes, ma'am. And chapter 1 in, because prologue was chapter 0. And chapter 2, Childhood Friends Unite. With the girl that looks like Karen. And April 5th. And I'm still asleep. So I think I'm gonna stop here for now, because this is a really long video. Try to record some more. I'm backlogged and stuff. See how far I can go. So, but I'll end this really long video here for now. So thank you guys for watching. But bye for now, and I hope this makes up for me not uploading for a few days. So thanks for watching again, guys. But I'm Celestial Shadows, and bye for now.